Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to the new and improved Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. After many years of interviewing the best and brightest thought leaders around the world on my SiriusXM show, I am excited to now have those interviews available to people around the globe on this podcast. So many people would write us and say, I love what I've been hearing about your interviews with these great people. Where can I access them? I live in this country or that country, or I don't have access to that technology. How can I get the information? Well, I'm so excited now that we are able to offer the information and the interviews free on this podcast. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this message and let me know how you like them. And then do me a favor. If you like them, send a review, write a review and post it. And if you like it, hit like on here and share it and tell everybody you know about it, and then subscribe to this podcast so you'll get the alerts when we post a new interview episode. Thank you for listening and enjoy the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
Yeah, that's right. You have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. It's forced upon you. You can't refuse it. You didn't seek it. You didn't choose it, but it's up to you to use it. You must suffer if you lose it. Give account if you abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but your eternities are wrapped up in it. I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be on with you again. And I'm grateful for you taking time out of your schedule to tune in, to turn on, and get ready for some information that will help you to grow your thinking, grow your wealth, and grow your future. So welcome to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show, and I am grateful for you. I'm grateful for you also for your being willing to share this program, this session, this podcast with everybody that you have been sharing it with. People come up to me all the time now and say, a friend of mine told me about it, or someone sent me a link, or someone sent me a text about your program and said, we got to listen. And so I'm thankful. Said he brings on the best guests, and they are always focused on helping you to do more, to be more, and achieve more. So please know that I am grateful for your sharing, and I encourage you to keep doing that. Keep sharing this message. In fact, I tell people every time I see them, well, if you enjoyed it, tell at least 10 more people. And they say, I'll do it. So I'm encouraging you to do the same. Tell at least 10 more people to tune in. Also, I start with that God's Minute, the beginning of the show, and then I take a moment, beginning of every show, to give God some glory, to give him praise and honor and thankfulness for all that he has done, for all the things that he has blessed me with. This show now is #1 self-help show in the country. I'm grateful for that. And the daily radio show on the Radio 1 network is Wake Up and Win with Dr. Willie Jolley every morning on Get Up Morning with Erica Campbell at 8:20 Eastern, 7:20 Central, doing great across America. And then now we've got the daily videos that we get on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. My 1-minute messages, you can access them at winwithwillie.com. Winwithwillie.com. You can sign up for the newsletter and we'll send them. All of those are going great. And we're doing a lot of speaking events all over the world. Just did one with Les Brown in Australia for the folks in Australia, and I didn't have to leave my home to do it. I'm grateful for that. But you know what? Those are all good. But what I'm most grateful for is life and strength and health. I am grateful for life and strength and health. And every day you get a blessing to another day, you ought to be grateful, because somebody had plans of places they're going to go, people they're going to see, and they did not wake up. They didn't get to see another day. So be grateful. And so I give God glory. Now, I am excited about our sponsor who has committed to the full year to be with us, and that's Truist Financial. I want to take a moment to thank them. Truist Financial, two great banks, BB&T and SunTrust, came together to create an even greater bank, Truist. They have a shared purpose to inspire and build better communities, better lives, better futures for you. With combined resources, collective passion, and continuous pursuit of innovation, Truist is opening the door to a better financial experience to help people and businesses do more, be more, and achieve more. See what the future of finance is shaping up to be at Truist.com. That's right, Truist, Truist.com. You're going to hear a lot about Truist. Keep your eyes open, ears open, and get busy in your support of Truist Bank. Well, I am excited also today that we are going to do what you've asked. We're going to talk about marriage, money, and wealth, and how it can impact your security as well as your happiness, because money messes up a lot of marriages because people don't have systems. They haven't talked about it. And there are a lot of issues. And every year I get a request to, one of the most frequent requests I get is to bring back my bride. Everybody loves Dee Jolley. They love the fact she's a straight no chaser. She's going to tell it like it is. And people say, when is your wife going to be on again? And so you've asked, as we celebrate love, that she is going to be a guest today. And we're going to talk about lessons and principles from our book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. We've been married for 36 years, haven't had an argument in over 33 years. Now, someone asked on a TV show we were doing, they said, you've never had an argument? I said, I didn't say that. I said, we haven't had an argument in 33 years. Those first few years were like World War III, but we learned some wise principles from some wise marriage mentors that changed our marriage. Look, write this one down. 2 ways to get to any goal: mentors and mistakes. Both will get you there. One gets you there with less headaches, heartaches, and knots upside your head. So you got to get some mentors, and you can get the mentor through somebody you know, or through a book, or through a program, or a series, or process. But you need to have people who have done it successfully help you to get past arguing, to get to loving. So today, my guest is the one and only Dee Taylor-Jolley. Dee Taylor-Jolley, how are you?
I'm great. It's a pleasure to be with you, Dr. Willie Jolley.
So let's talk about this process that people are always asking about you, and the fact that we've been married for 36 years and we don't argue. Now, that doesn't mean we always agree.
We do not agree on everything,
right?
On many things, because we are in business together,
Yep,
as well as we are a married couple.
Yep. And so we have learned, though, that there are systems. And if you use these principles, let me tell you what a principle is, folks. A principle is something that's bedrock that works over and over again. And we wrote these principles in the book because they work over and over again. You throw a rock up 100 times, it'll come down because of a principle called gravity. And if you use these principles, they will help your marriage. Now, one of those principles is about money. We know that there are 3 boulders break up marriage: sex, money, and communication. And so let's talk about the money, baby. Let's talk about the money, because you're about the money. Let's make it clear. People who know Willie Jolley Worldwide or Willie Jolley Productions know that Dee, you got to deal with Dee. It's about the money.
I'm called the back office boss.
Okay. And which is your new company?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the back office boss says, how do you manage whatever dollars that come in and put them in the right kind of buckets? And that's a whole nother concept. Where's the money going? And what are the basics? What are the bills that are always there?
Yes. And how do you handle
rent, insurance, which is your health, your disability, your retirement. So you end up with, together, collectively, a list of what is absolutely necessary that you're going to pay, and how are you going to do it together? That's the key. The communication, when you talked about communication, sex, and money, the common thread is communication. And if you're not communicating as to how you manage your money, it can be lopsided. It can be a major mess.
And people break up often about that. So we talked one thing that we were on an interview just recently with Russell Price, for publisher of Be There magazine. He wanted to interview us, and he said something that was something I'd never heard before. He said, Willie, People hear you speak, and in every speech, you talk about your wife. And you tell the story about your wife and how y'all have been married and how you are grateful for her. And he said a term, Dee, I'm going to let you talk about it, that he used. That
He used a couple of phrases that I had to write down because I thought that they were very profound. The first phrase was, we have an announceable marriage. And I said to Russell, what do you mean we have an announceable marriage? And he said that Willie speaks kindly and with respect related to you, whether you're with him or not. And that he has friends he would never have known that they were married until the pandemic came along. And then they were on Facebook mentioning their spouse. And he's like, what? I didn't even know they had that they were married. So announceable marriage says that you have the kind of relationship communication with each other where you're proud to say, this is my partner, this is my mate, and that you're marching down this road together intentionally.
It's intentionality.
Intentionally, yes.
All right, so folks, we are announceable. And one of the things we found that many wives or many women come up to Dee after my speech and say, how did you get him to talk about you like that from the stage? And she'll say, I treat him well and we communicate and we're best friends. We'll talk more about friends later. Now, the other term he used, Dee, was really mine.
Are you beneficiary love worthy? And I thought that's a mouthful. Again, are you beneficiary love worthy? Now, what in the world does that mean? The beneficiary is the person who is the recipient of something that you have left. And during the pandemic, when people are dying so unexpectedly, that there are many cases when the surviving spouse discovers that the life insurance was not in their name, in the name of a sister, a brother, an aunt, somebody else, but not in the name of the person that they said they loved. So are you beneficiary love worthy? Says, do you love somebody enough to leave items to them, to leave property to them, to leave wealth, your financial security to them? That's major.
That's major. And we've heard it over and over again. We've heard of families breaking up after someone dies and get the will, and the will is read and the spouse has nothing left. Or
how does that happen?
Or how Russell talked about also was a guy who had been with the woman. They were
a couple. Not legally, but to the world, they were a couple.
Yes.
Over a decade. And the female passed away due to COVID.
Yes.
And when the partner called the daughter said, do nothing until I get there. Only to discover they were not married. The female partner had 3 life insurance policies that amount to over $500,000. And nothing was left to the partner. And after the burial, of which the daughter selected everything, he had no say. He was then given 7 days to get out of her home, the daughter's home, because she had all of the rights and privileges. Obviously, he was not beneficiary love worthy.
Wow.
And can be a very difficult conversation for people to have. No one wants to talk about, what am I going to get if you pass away? Or what if something happens to you? How am I supposed to make it? That's a mistake. It's a wealth mistake to not have those conversations.
My. That's why y'all want her, because she talks straight. She tells the truth. Straight, no chaser. And she talks about wealth building. And she's always talking when she's a back office boss. And you can go to backofficeboss.com. Am I right, Dee?
Yes.
And learn more about that. But she talks about the fact that if you're making a business and you're working hard, you should be about making money and creating wealth. We've learned something in these many years of being married, that success is better together. We're going to talk more about that, and we're going to talk about how to create systems for your wealth building in your marriage. Look, we're going to come right back. We got more to talk about in this program. Tell Lottie, Dottie, and everybody to turn on the radio. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show, and for sure, your best is yet to come. Since I met you, all that's changed. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered why some people can make $1 million, lose it, make a second million, lose that, then make a third million, while other people can't even make ends meet? Well, the reason is that those people know the recipe for success. And that recipe is available to everyone if you will do what they did. They made a habit of getting positive, motivational resources of great thinkers and great learners. And I want to offer those same kind of resources to you. We've developed a free page on my website. It's wjspeaks.com/gift. wjspeaks.com/gift. On that site, we've got resources, books, audios to help you to grow, and they're free. So go to wjspeaks.com/gift, wjspeaks.com/gift, and get some of those resources, and then share that page with your friends and your family members. We want to impact and inspire millions of people. And remember, if you enjoy this message on this podcast, like it, share it, and post a review about it, and make a difference in the lives of others by letting them know about it. Have a great day. This is Dr. Willie Jolley.
A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude.
And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show. And to everybody across America, border to border, to coast, as my friend Joe Madison says, I want to welcome you and I want to thank you for joining us. I also want to let you know you can also access this show. If you're listening on radio, you can access it on podcasts on iHeartRadio, C-Suite Radio, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, and Apple Podcasts, the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. But if you're listening on podcasts, you can listen to it on this network on SiriusXM. It's channel 141, and we are grateful for being able to be part of the network. And we're grateful now that we have the #1 show on the network for self-help and motivation. So we're grateful, and we're grateful for all of you who have made it that way. My special guest is the one you ask for every year, the one of the most listened to shows, one of the most requested shows is for me to bring my bride, Dee Taylor-Jolley, back on to talk about our marriage, talk about relationships, talk about principles for improving and enhancing your marriage, enriching your marriage. We like the word enriching because how many of you want to be rich? And to be enriched means you got more riches coming your way in unique ways. So we want to enrich your marriage. So she is with us today, the queen of the castle and the co-author of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage, Dee Taylor-Jolley. Well, Dee, why don't you give them a little understanding about how I was able to talk you into marrying me?
Okay, the short version. We went out for lunch and came back married. But he had been working on me for, I would guess, for over a year. Yeah. He became my best friend. So I think that is key in any relationship for the long term, to be a person's best friend. And he befriended me before I was befriendable, I think, to him. So he saw something in me as a keeper because I had been married before, and I had decided that as a result of that relationship that I never wanted to get married again because I had not been successful at it. And we became friends over time. So he did a great job of selling me on his friendship and being there for me and developing mutual respect and appreciation.
Yes.
And out of that came trust. And trust is very important in any relationship, particularly when you're talking about marriage and money and building wealth.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Trust is critically important. And trust, if many of you know, we recently had Stephen M. Art Covey on the show, and he talked about the speed of trust and how trust is something that can be learned, can be gained, can be expanded, can be, if you mess up, it even can be rebuilt. But it is critically important in terms of moving things faster along. And that includes wealth building, generating, creating, and inducing money to come your way. So we have been married, going, as I said, 36 years, and we have built businesses. We've built businesses. We've built companies now, and we've built sectors or verticals in our company. We've got a speaking business that has been very, very good to us over the years. We've traveled all over the world, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Japan, the Caribbean, Paris. And so we've been able to have the speaking. Then we built a publishing company, and we've been able to publish our own works, and we've been able to own the copyrights for our books. We've created this media company where we're in multiple media platforms. And then we've got new things coming, a television network or television opportunity, Jolly Media, as well as the music. But she is my partner in all of this. And really, before we got married, I realized something, and I think this is important for me to say to everybody. My mama told my brother and I, when we were growing up, she always stressed, marry a smart woman. Do not marry a dumb woman or you're going to have trouble all your life. She always said that. And so I must say that my brother and I both listened to our mom. My brother married a brilliant woman who was an attorney or is an attorney. My brother passed away, but she's still alive, and she's an attorney. And then I married Dee, who is brilliant. She is very smart. And I say that to say, before we got married, when we were still just getting our relationship going, I hired her as a consultant for my recording business, my recording studio. And so I knew there was brilliance there. Now, the key was then trying to figure out how to get her to marry him, how to get her to say yes. So let me tell you the rest of the story. She gave you the short version of how I got her to say yes. So here's what happened. She said, I'm in sales. I am a persuasive kind of guy, I guess. So I was living in D.C. We had been dating for 2 years, maybe 3 years.
And I moved away.
And she moved away, and she had lost her job, and she moved back home to run her father's his growing empire of the grocery store, the laundromat, the barber shop, the beauty shop. He had all sorts of enterprises, and he needed somebody to administrate and run it. So she went back to Hampton, Virginia, to run his organization. Well, we would visit once a month. Maybe I'd ride down there on the weekends, always on Saturday and Sunday, and then come back home. And we would talk daily, but I'd only get to see her maybe once a month. Well, one weekend was coming up, and a friend of mine and his wife said they were going to go to Virginia Beach, and they were going on a Thursday morning. I said, "You're going on Thursday?" He said, "Yeah." He was my tennis partner. He said, "We're going to Virginia Beach on Thursday." I said, "Thursday?" I said, "Can I ride with you?" I said, "When you coming back?" He said, "We're coming back Sunday night." And I said, "Great. Can I ride with you? Drop me off in Hampton on your way to Virginia Beach." He said, "Sure." So went down on Thursday with them and was there on a Friday morning. So Friday morning comes on, and I say to Dee, I said, "Look, how about us going to our favorite seafood restaurant for lunch today?" She said, "Okay, that's fine." The place called Fisherman's Wharf in Hampton. In Hampton. So on the way, though, we're going to Fisherman's Wharf. I got this plan, and I'm going to work this plan because I'm never there on a Friday, and this is my shot. So I say to her, I said, "Look, I know you have been saying for a long time that you don't want to get married again. And I know that I'm just a musician, and you've always said you didn't think it would be I would be ready for marriage, and you've been saying no every time I've asked you. But I just want to find out: is it in the realm of possibility, or is it an impossibility? Is it in the realm of possibility? She said, "Well, I guess it's in the realm of possibility, but it's very improbable that it's going to happen." I said, "Okay, it's in the realm of possibility." She said, "Yes, okay, I'll give you that." I said, "Okay." So as we're leaving, I said, "So aren't we going by City Hall on our way to Fisherman's Wharf?" She said, yeah. I said, "Well, wouldn't it make sense, or wouldn't it make a little sense for us to at least go by and find out what it would take if you ever changed your mind, what it would take to get a marriage license, whether you need a 3-day test, or whether you need a blood test, or whether you need a 3-day wait, or whatever you needed. You at least know some information." She said, "Well, it's up to you, but I want to go to lunch." I said, "Just stop, just humor me." So we go by there, and we go to the lady at the desk, and I say, "So I'm trying to get some information, and I want to know, what would it take to get a marriage license? Do you have to have a blood test? Do you have to have a 3-day wait?" She said, "No, all you need is $7, and you can get the marriage license right now." I said, "What? The $7 to get the marriage license right now?" And I said, "Now, Dee, wouldn't it make sense that we get the marriage license?" And I said, "Ma'am, how long is it good for?" She said, "It's good for a year." It's good for a year. So in the case of next year, you change your mind, we don't have to go through getting a license. I'm here on a Friday. What's the chances? She said, "Your $7, you do what you want, but I'm not planning to get married so anytime soon, and I'm not thinking about it." I get the license, and then I said to the lady, "Well, if you had the license, what would be your next step if you were going to get married on a certain day, any time of the year? Or what would be?" She said, "You'd go upstairs to the Justices of Peace, and you'd get on his docket. But let me tell you, it's usually about 2 to 3 week wait to get on his docket, because he's always full." I said, "Okay." I said, "Now, Dee, wouldn't it make sense?" And I'm talking faster and faster. Wouldn't it make sense that we at least go up there and find out what it would take, so that if we ever change your mind, you know the process, and then we could at least have the information?" We walk up the steps. I'm talking fast. We get to the Justice Peace's office, and I say to the lady at the front door, I say, "Now, at the desk, I said, "Now, I was told that I needed to get some information. I'd come up to you, and here's what had happened. You got a license, and what would happen if you needed to get married and you got your license?" She said, "Well, you'd get on the docket, and then you'd be prepared for about a 2 or 3 week wait, because that's what happens all the time, because the docket is always full." But we just had a cancellation. 10 minutes later, folks, I was a married man.
The best decision I ever stumbled into, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
So that is how that we went away, and then we went to get lunch, and then we came back to her mama's house and her daddy's house, and we said, "We is married." And thank God, because I loved her mother, and I loved her dad, and he was not a warm and fuzzy kind of guy. Okay, he was kind of stern until he got to know you. And he and I, in time, became best buddies. And
my dad was all about work.
Always working. And her mother was the most personable, most pleasant woman you would ever want to meet. So we've been married now. And one of the things we learned from there, I go back to, we learned modeling. It's good to get some modeling. Who are our models, mentors? Who can you learn from so you don't have these arguments? Because I never heard her dad and mom argue, ever. I don't ever remember hearing them in the time.
Dad set the tone, decided on the businesses and the like. I'm sure they talked about that together. But after he got the projects going, she provided the detail in the background.
And she ran everything. And she made him feel like he ran everything, which is a big part. I'm going to come back to when we come back after this break. What I encouraged Dee to say when I asked her, I said, "Look, I want to be the man of the house. Now, you can run everything. Just let me feel like I'm in charge."
And I said, "I can do that."
We'll be right back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, my special guest, Dee Taylor-Jolley, on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. We'll be right back after station identification. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I got an email from a gentleman in Australia who shared how he had been struggling in his business, and he bought some of my books and audios, and how it had a profound impact on his business, and he went from worst to first in his company. I shared with him how much I appreciated his note, but I told him those books, those audios, those videos were not just something that I just thought up one day and started to write. They were born out of my experiences, out of the challenges of overcoming the problems and the difficulties and how I was able to do it. And I shared with him that others have sent similar messages and that these resources work. I want to encourage you and invite you to go to my store. Go to wjspeaks.com/shop. wjspeaks.com/shop. Get some of the books. It only takes a minute to change your life. Or a setback is a setup for a comeback. Or turn setbacks into greenbacks. Or chicken soup for the soul. Or an attitude of excellence. Or the book I wrote with my wife after 34 years of being married and not having an argument in over 30 years. We wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. And now it is saving marriages all over the globe. Go to the store. Get some of the audios, the videos, the books, the resources to help you have greater personal and professional success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Make this a great day on purpose. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley with my special guest, Dee Taylor-Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show. And I'm very grateful that we are grateful for our sponsor. I got to tell you a little more about them because they're so awesome and they're so incredible. We're sponsored by Truist, the bank that's here for better. Better communities, better life, better success. BB&T and SunTrust merged to form Truist with a shared purpose to inspire and build better lives and communities. Now, let me give you just one example of what that means. Truist has come up with something called the Truist Community Benefits Plan. They've earmarked $60 billion, that's right, billion with a B, to invest in affordable housing, nonprofit support, and small business growth over the next 3 years. So you can see that while Truist is committed to a better banking experience for you, they're just as committed to giving back to the community and sharing meaningful change for all people who are striving, people who are striving to do more, to be more, and to achieve more. I hope you'll check them out at truist.com. Let me spell that for you. It's TRUIST.com, Truist Financial. They're a member of FDIC, and this bank is really committed to our community. Well, Dee, we're talking about the fact that when we got married, folks, I'm here with my bride, Dee Taylor-Jolley, the co-author of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. In fact, let me give everybody a little gift. If you go to jollymarriage.com, jollymarriage.com, we'll give you a free copy of the biggest chapter in the book. We'll give you a free chapter from the book, which is the biggest chapter, is one of the biggest problems in marriage, communication. There are 3 boulders that break up marriage: sex, money, and communication. And of those 3, the one that is weaved throughout all is communication. You don't communicate about your sex life, your love life, it can be a problem.
And your money.
And then you don't communicate about your money. It could be a problem. That's what we're going to talk about today, is about money and how it's critically important to talk about the money. Talk about the money, because money matters. Chapter number 9 in the book. Let me just read down the chapters for you, but we're going to focus on a couple of chapters. We can't get to all of them, but hopefully you all will join us every Monday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on Facebook Live, where we do Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, the broadcast. Every Monday night, and it's also, we got a YouTube channel. So you can, if you can't join us on Monday night at 9, you can go to the YouTube channel. We talk about everything openly and honestly, particularly sex and how the brothers got to get hooked up. Am I right about it, brothers? You can hook up a brother. And then women need intimacy and security. So we talk about all of those things, and we talk about it in real life situations. Well, chapter number 1 is about friends first. Dee talked about the fact that we became friends, which empowered our relationship and grew our potential for wanting and enjoying being around each other. We've been here in this house with each other for the last almost year, and we are more in love than we've ever been. So we've talked to other friends who say the same. It's so important to make sure that you marry your friend. Now, what happens if they're not friends? Well, we have a chapter in the book about friends first and how to to create a friendship when there is not one. So then number 2 is make God an equal part of your marriage. Critically important. Chapter number 3 is decide to make it last. Love is an emotion. Marriage is a decision. Am I right about it, Dee?
Absolutely.
And you got to make the decision. And so people fall in and out of love. The emotions change, but we decided. What was our decision when we got married?
You said,
Uh-huh.
you've been married before. With me, you're not going to get out of it.
Right. I said, you can't get out of it unless I thought there was one out. Okay. There was one out. I said, I give you one out, and here's the out. You die. You die, you good.
So you have to figure out how to work together.
That's right. And we did that because if you say, I try to be married, or I'm hoping to stay married, then you're giving it a out. But there's no out. I told her this is it. And I told her if she leave me, I'm coming with her.
So I think there's a key element there is
Yes.
that you study each other.
Mm.
So you learn the triggers that either are good or are negative,
Uh-huh.
and how to work through issues by talking to each other, by looking at the body language of your mate.
Talking to each other, talk to each other, and we created systems that we have perfected, I would say, because we've taught them to other people now. Where we give you an example. My niece called me one night, and she and her husband had just had it was bad. She said, it's bad. I need to talk to y'all because it's real bad. I said, okay. We were at dinner. It was a birthday dinner for
Yes.
Dee and her best friend are both on the same day. And we were at the birthday dinner. I said, I'll call you when we get home. And got on the phone when I got home, and it was he said this and she said that and he did this. And I said, oh, stop. I don't want all of that. What's your system? They said, what? What's your system to fix this? There's a system. And we gave them our system for disagreeing without being disagreeable. Here's the system. Here's how you communicate. Here are the 4 F's that help you communicate. Be friendly. Be frank. Be fair. Be focused on a win-win. Be friendly. Be friendly. Don't start off angry. Just be friendly. Be calm. Be frank. Not what you did, not what you said, but how I feel. I'm frank about how it made me feel, how I'm actually feeling. Not being anything but totally honest, hurt my feelings. And men have a hard time saying that hurt my feelings. Be friendly, be frank, be fair. That means you must be willing to listen to the other side, and then be focused on a win-win. We want to win. We both want to win. We want to win together. So that is out of the communication chapter number 4. That's the chapter we want to give everybody how to communicate, how to not to stonewall, how not to keep from talking to each other, how to be silent treatment, all that kind of thing. Then number 5 is leave the drama with your mama. When you were a child, you thought like a child, you acted like a child, but when you became an adult, you put away childish things. Don't look at reality shows as your model for marriage success. They do that for ratings. If you have drama, it's not going to get good ratings. Chapter number 7, how to handle a stalemate. One person wants to go one way, another person wants to go another way. How do you handle it, and how do you create a system so that y'all get past that stalemate? Number 8, sex, headaches, and other lies. That's the chapter that everybody wants. I'm talking about sex, real deal issues with sex. Brothers got to get hooked up because brothers need 2 things. Sex, respect. Women need 2 things. Intimacy, security. How do you find them, and how do you get through them, and how do you go through that process? And then chapter number 9 is always date your mate. And that's when we talk about have a date night. Everybody should have a date night every week. And it doesn't take any money to do it. We had no money. And tell them what we did for date night, just so they know.
Jiffy popcorn.
Jiffy popcorn.
Watching L.A. Law.
Yep.
And Hill Street Blues.
Yep. Thursday night.
In our bedroom with the door open.
Yep.
And the kids could go by, but they could not come in. And we never talked about the kids, but that was off limits. And we talked about what we were feeling.
Right.
And what our goals and dreams were.
Yep. We talked about us. We didn't talk about the kids nor the bills, because when we started dating, we didn't have either. Okay. And then number 10, count the cost. Money matters. That's what we want to focus a little bit, because money is an important part of marriage, and so many marriages break up because of money. And we found that many people don't talk about money, particularly when they're dating. They won't talk about money. They talk about romantic stuff. But money, you need to talk about the money. Why? Because when you get married, you really are a merger. You're creating a merger. You got two people with different resources coming together to create one new entity. And when you do that, you need to leave, cleave, and weave. Talk about what that means, Dee. Leave,
You're
cleave.
leaving your home family,
Yep.
your individual families, and you're building a new relationship, the two of you.
Yes.
So you might take ideas, things that you liked from your house and then from your spouse's home environment, and you're creating your new special culture and relationship.
Right.
But more, I think, just as important as when we're talking about wealth, building wealth, because that is what you are supposed to be doing. You're building the relationship, you're building the family, and you're building financial security. What does that look like? And one of the things that people don't really talk about is, what is the credit score?
Whoa.
What's your credit score?
Whoa.
What kind of debt do you have? What are the assets that you are bringing to the marriage? And what do you want to build together? One of the challenges with marriage is if there is a divorce, you can end up losing a significant share of your wealth through divorce.
Tell them about it. Tell them some of the numbers. When we got married, we interviewed people who have been married 40, 50, and 60 years together have been married. Jim Rhodey, I'll never forget, Jim Rhodey and Naomi had been married 60 years. And Jim and Naomi, and Jim said, he's a money guy, multimillionaire, said, stay married. He said, I have too many horror stories of people who got divorced and lost either all of their money or half of their money gone.
Because the divorce becomes an emotional decision. So we said earlier that love is an emotion.
Yep.
And marriage is your decision.
Right. Talk about some of the people who we use as object lessons when we have our seminars.
Divorce is very expensive. And here's some examples. So of course you say, well, that's not me because I don't have billions. But what you do have, you'll have to divide. For example, most recently, Jeff Bezos, who divorced his wife, Mackenzie, in 2019, she ended up with $38 billion.
Woo.
She ended up with $38 billion. I'm not saying she didn't earn it, but
38
half of
billion.
his assets, $38 billion. Then it was Tiger Woods, and Tiger Woods' situation was very, very public. You remember that?
Yep.
Several years ago, he was in 2010, and they had only been married like 5 or 6 years, and he settled with her for $710 million.
$710 million.
And then let's do Michael Jordan. Is that the Air Jordans guy, Michael Jordan, that everybody loves?
Yes.
Now, he divorced his wife, Juanita.
Yes.
And they've been married for like 16 years. And it is estimated that his divorce cost him $168 million.
Wow.
That is actually going on, $168 million. And then there is Lionel Richie. We love Lionel Richie and all of his music, right?
Yep.
They got divorced after having been married for like 9 years. But he only gave up $20 million.
$20 million.
And then we have the infamous Donald Trump in one of his recent divorces, where he was married to Ivanka for about 14 years, and it's estimated that he paid out $25 million.
$25 million.
So that can destroy or put a big chink or take a big chunk out of your wealth building by having half of it gone.
My. Well, we're going to talk about principles, how you handle money and how you set up your systems for your money in the next segment. This is Dr. Willie Jolley and the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And for sure, your best is yet to come.
Friendship is not about being convenient. It's about being committed and consistent.
You can call on me
When you need me,
call me. You can call on me.
call me.
You can call on me.
Pick up the phone.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and people often ask, how did I go from a broke, busted nightclub singer to become a best-selling author and to be voted one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters International? The answer is that I decided to invest and change my thinking, invest in my mindset, and decided to change my inputs because inputs determine outputs. I heard about a seminar years ago when I was just getting started. I was making about $100 a speech. And I heard this seminar that was creating millionaires, and it cost $10,000, but the guy was getting results. I didn't have that kind of money, but I decided to borrow it because I learned that there's a price for success, the price of college, the price of going to school, the price of education. And there's a price for success, and then there's a cost for not paying the price, the cost of staying the same. And that cost is greater than the price. It's too expensive. And so I went and it changed my life. And I came back and quickly made $100,000. I heard a similar story from Dr. Dave Martin, how he went to a success rally, heard a speaker who inspired him. He and his friends said, wow, that's changed my life. The speaker had a package of materials to help build wealth. The package cost $1,500. And that was all the money Dr. Dave had to his name. Dr. Dave's friend asked, do you think this stuff is worth it? Dr. Dave thought for a moment. He said, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. But I do know that I'm worth it. I'm worth it. He invested that money in that package and used the materials to grow his thinking. He grew his mindset. He shared how that $1,500 investment has gone on to generate millions in revenues. He's a multimillionaire. And he has homes now in Arizona and Florida. I want to say to you, it's time to invest in you. I want to give you some materials that will help you, grow your mindset, grow your future, grow your finances. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire. wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get some materials that will inspire your success and will help you find that there's a price for success, but there's a cost for not paying the price. And the cost is always greater than the price. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire and get the bag, the box, or any of the materials there and keep growing your wealth. And remember, as a man thinketh, so as he is, and your best is yet to come. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show with my special guest, my beautiful bride of over 35 years, 36 years now. We dated for 4 years and we've written a book. We want to give everybody access to a free chapter from the book. Go to jollymarriage.com, jollymarriage.com. And we recommend, if you're going to buy the book, get 2 copies. A copy for each of you, and buy the 2 copies and then read it together. Because we don't want you to read it and then be a head and shoulders above the other one, and then the other one have to catch up. No, read it together. At the end of each chapter, there are learning points. We want you to talk about the learning points that you learn. We have had so many success stories of people who said, particularly one couple came and said, we ought to take you to dinner. This pre-pandemic, obviously. And we went to dinner. They said, we've been married 15 years and we have no children and we are only together, but we did what you said. And at the end of each chapter, we learned something about each other. When we finished the book, we closed the book and we both cried because we found out so much about each other. Also, there's a chapter in the book for people who are not yet married. So if you're not married, there's a chapter to help you choose the right one. We can't tell you where to find them, but we can help you separate the suspects from the prospects. So some principles, some exercises, some tools, and some tests that you can use to figure out if that person is the right one or not. So there's a chapter for people who are not yet married. Oh, last but not least, we have had so many people who love the Monday night show, but they say it's only half hour. We need more. We need a deeper dive. We want to go into deeper depth, and we want to be able to not be sharing our information on Facebook about intimate things and questions we need answers to. So we've decided to do a special experience called the Jolly Marriage Enrichment Series. The Jolly Marriage Enrichment Series that we're going to start the end of the month, and you can join in at any time, because what we're going to do is going to be a sessions that you can get, session 1, session 2, wherever you come into the cycle, and you can go through the different sessions, and you can access registration for that series. It's $30 per series for the couple. That's just unbelievable. $30 per series is a 10-part series. And if you want to get the whole series, you can get the whole series for $250. So go to jollymarriage.com/series. jollymarriage.com/series. Let's talk about marriage and some of the things we learned about marriage. Let's talk first about the different systems that we've learned and we put in the book for handling money. Because one of the things we had was a friend who called us and said, I'm divorcing my husband. You remember that conversation from our friend who's a doctor. And she said, I'm
But
divorcing.
that's just because she didn't know where the money was.
She didn't know where the
But
money
she
was.
didn't have to pay any of the bills. He
Right.
took care of everything, but did not share what that looked like.
Right.
And if something had happened to him,
Boom.
how would she even know what to do?
Right.
So we've discovered that there are 3 basic ways that couples handle their money
Successfully.
successfully. The 1 pot, 2 pot, or 3 pot.
Okay. What's the 1 pot?
Everything is in one bank account.
Okay. Everything's in one bank account. And
all the bills are paid out of that.
All right. So that usually happens. What we found, there was the 1 pot, 2 pot, or 3 pot is determined mostly by age and stage. So we found that people who coming out of high school or coming out of college, they have nothing and they get married, they got nothing. Then they typically have the 1 pot. All the money goes into 1 pot, and that the one person is responsible for writing the
Actually
check.
paying the bills. I will interject here
Yeah.
that what is coming to light with the COVID situation and people getting ill suddenly and passing away, one of the things that our pastor talked about on the Bible study the other night was that not having your name on each other's account. Okay? So a very successful pastor had 3 different bank accounts, and his wife's name was not on any of them. Okay, so they didn't have separate accounts.
Right.
3 accounts, but his wife's name was not on the account. So how could she even track? She could not get access to the money.
Could
Not take care of responsibility. So it's still going on. That's happening right
now. The next stage is when you're a little older, you've finished college, you've gotten an apartment, or you've got your first little condo, you might have your first little car note or car. Then you meet somebody. Now, you don't have a lot, but you got part and they got part. And here's what we find those people tend to do. They're usually around late 20s. They split the bills. One takes the mortgage, one takes the utilities. One takes this, one takes that. Now, we've seen a number of people do that, and we write about them in the book. Our friend Michelle Singletary, who goes to our church, the columnist with the Washington Post, Color
of Money. Yes.
She says she doesn't like that because it makes it like marriage roommates. But we have found the way we had success in our marriage, and we've never had an argument about money, is the 3 pot. 3 pot. She was older. She had been married before. Dee was married before and had her own bank account, 401k, all of her retirement. I was younger than her, but not much younger, but I had something. I had a checking account and so forth. But we decided we would both keep each other, have their checking account. I would put her name on mine. She would put my name on hers. We created a 3rd account.
Which was our household account.
And we both made a deposit or donation or
we decided based upon how much money
budget.
we made, what we would contribute. And we had a budget.
We actually
budget. Had to set up a budget. Now,
That's
what's
right.
the budget?
Right.
What are the things that are required that have to be paid?
Got to
every
be
month?
paid.
Yes.
Got to be paid. And we put a budget. We created a budget and we put the money in. And then when she went to buy shoes, I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to holler. I didn't have to scream. When I wanted to buy a new tech toy, she didn't have to holler because we weren't taking money out of the household account. And we both could see each other's account online as when that came to be available. So what we are telling you to do is to learn that there are money systems that will eliminate the arguing. They'll eliminate the drama. They'll eliminate the hassle. So D, in the workbook, we got a new workbook we have put out. And in fact, I want you to go to jollymarriage.com, get the whole bundle, because we got, if you get the bundle, you get 2 books, 2 workbooks, the audio book, and the seminar on CD, 2 CDs. Tell them a little bit about
I'm
things in
saying
the workbook.
it's important that you build your wealth together. If you're not on the same page, you don't have the same goals. And that's another conversation about each person has goals, but
Right.
you have to have goals as a couple or you will be limping along. One person wants to save and another person is more of a spender.
Yeah.
There usually is a difference.
Yeah.
But with the goals and agreeing on your goals, you can decide how to move forward together. What are your assets? What are your liabilities? You have to be truthful with each other. And then you need to talk about what we normally don't talk about. Health insurance, disability insurance,
Life insurance.
long-term care insurance, life insurance, investments, retirement. Is your property titled correct? Wow. And your will and your trust.
All right, so folks, y'all may have heard me say recently, and if you're on the Monday night call, you know every Monday night I'm excited about something. Christmas Eve, last Christmas Eve, our Christmas gift to each other was that we executed not just our will. We've had a number of wills that we've
But
grown.
we updated our will.
Yep.
And we added and executed a trust that we're now starting to actually fund. So you can have a trust, but you can have nothing in it. So now we're working at funding our trust.
And the trust is something that we set a goal. And we set a goal that 100 years from now, some child will be able to go to college because of the trust and the money that is spun off from the trust that will be earmarked for education. One of the things about setting goals, I love that you said that. We had Damon John, who we were talking to, and Damon talked about the fact that one of the sexiest things he's ever done was to set goals with his wife. He said it just was another level of sexuality and intimacy and sensuality. We got about a minute.
You're planning your future together.
Planning your future together. We got a minute and a half. Dee, closing thoughts on what is important for marriages to survive and thrive.
You have to like each other and you have to like being with each other. And if that is not already the case, that you can work at it.
There you go.
But it's a decision. You decide that you want to work. Find something. There was a reason you married them other than just the sex or the car or the house or whatever. Find something that you like. Study that. Then work on developing that long-term relationship.
Absolutely. Look, we want to say that we want you to join us Monday night, 9:00 Eastern Time, Facebook Live, Willie.Jolley for Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, the broadcast. I want to thank Truist Financial for being our sponsor. Truist has made a commitment to really commit to the community, and we want to encourage you to partner with Truist Financial with your finances. BB&T merged to form Truist with a shared purpose to inspire and build better lives and community. And they have done great things. Go to TRUIST.com, Truist.com. And then last but not least, I want to encourage you to go to jollymarriage.com/series. Sign up for our 10-part series. It's going to be starting soon, and we want you to be a part of it. We're going to go deep dives every session into situations, principles, and ideas to help you and your specific, significant other to have greater success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show. And for sure, your best is yet to come. Have a great day.
Are you tired of crying and complaining? Tired of feeling like life don't treat you fair? Do you see so many others moving on while you're steady going nowhere. Have you maybe come to the conclusion that there's nothing at all that you can do? Well, just look in any mirror and you'll see who is really truly stopping you. My mind. It's up to every one of us to take charge of our life and to make it what we want. If you think that it
Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I hope you got something of great value. And I hope that you were inspired, you were motivated, you were empowered, and you were encouraged to live your best life. I hope this information and this inspiration will help you to do more, be more, and to achieve more. That's the goal why I started this program, and I hope it helped you in a mighty way. Now, I ask you to make sure and that you take full advantage of all the resources that came through this program. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/gift and get some of the free resources that we have there for you. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/shop to get some of the books that we have created, that we've labored over to make sure that they will deliver a powerful message to you. I hope you go to williejolly.com/billionaire. williejolly.com/billionaire or wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get the box that it will inspire your whole family, or get the bag of books. Make this a great day, a great week, a great month, and remember, it is true that you are blessed and all things are possible for them that believe. So make the most of the belief that you have now in your future. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.